Zoom. Healy, Zoom.
英語部です。
英語部なんかあるんですか？
Zoom.
I'd say most people would say yes because it comes citizenship, but
I am the secretary and I am a proud representative of Clark Nagoya.
I got it. We're all under 6 foot.
Let's go. I understand.
Oh
I
yeah,
understand.
yeah, that works.
That's it.
Japanese artists, I like King Gnu.
You all love dogs and cats.
Cats are good too. Cats are good too.
Cats are good too,
We
right?
agreed on dogs. So.
それでは皆さん、いよいよ高校生環境サミットの開催です。
参加された高校生の皆さんにとって今回のサミットが未来の行動につながる学びの場となることを心から期待をしております。
皆さんには本サミットでの経験を存分に生かしていただいて両地域の架け橋としてご活躍いただくことを大いに期待をいたします。
including extreme heat, heavy rain, and drought
is also important. But the rich information of the past and the modern relationship between the Iwo and Ainu people, also you can explain how to hunt the bear using the Ainu hunting tools.
It is that this declared by the now our efforts continuously.
We don't have to use an air conditioner. That's fantastic, right?
Common, but uchimizu is uchimizu is tradition and it we spread water.
like lots of traditional like Hawaiian food, especially, is made using just like simple natural ingredients, so it's not like taxating on lots of different ingredients. It's very simple, and so it doesn't take up space in the environment for lots of farming, and it's cooked using like I guess more natural, like in some traditions, not using like lots of gas and electric stoves. It's cooked more naturally, just using pure fire and stuff like that.
Hawaiian fish ponds that we use, and I think it's part of Hawaiian culture to just really respect the land and make sure you take care of it.
Well, if it's organized by government, it's legal. It's illegal to like do from your house.
A lot of people try to promote like supporting local farms and local people growing food, because a lot of food is imported from outside of Hawaii. Like 90% of food comes into Hawaii. So Hawaii itself is not sustainable, and so a lot of people try to support local farms so that they can be successful and have more land to grow more food, so that Hawaii doesn't have to depend on the mainland United States as much.
Has gone bad. 使わないけど、お花見ってさ、自然をそのまま見てるだけだからさ、別にあれじゃん、YouTube 見てるわけじゃない。で、電気使ってるわけじゃないし。
そう、感じるんだよ。
お忙しそうで、皆さんお忙しそうで。Hi. May I present a presentation of our group's opinion? We talked about food, like how to keep long time the food, how to make food last long, like osechi is osechi have a strong taste to keep last a long time, and like hot pot is help to eat old food.
So
And
any activity
Hawaiian food doesn't use too much energy to cook like a gas oil or
is the most important step for the medicine.
And New Zealand has a culture, it's hagi. Hagi is to smoke the food and make food last a long time. And Japanese has like hakko, like natto and maybe tofu.
In a certain period or so, but eventually it started coming to the commoners as a way to offer food to the gods. And then it eventually came to present day. It's just a festival to create a bunch of food and then just share it amongst people.
But that's my job because we only have 1 more minute left.
They use like bottle caps.
And even if I say stop, people.
Have you heard
Oh
of that?
yeah, I've had one of those pens. So could just be like recycling.
Yeah.
We will be walking around if you have any questions. Let's get started.
These people, right? How do we make like situations and like trainings where these people like actually learn something, and we make sure it gets to as many people as possible, right? So, how would we do that?
I can go off on my whole other tangent, but I think it fits under the education thing. What explores?
Essentially like what I was saying with school gardens and green zones. Because schools, if we start young, like if you've noticed, a lot of people who are for the environment are younger. But there's also a lot of people in our generation who just could care less.
Yeah, because they haven't had like that.
And so like if we were to spark their care for the environment, if we started young, then the whole next generation and our generation would be able to do something, because it kind of seems like we're giving up on the older people, which sounds terrible, but it sounds like they've given up too. So
Going to be shipped and like packed, right? Like Akio said, like I learned that.
Yeah, this is Hawaii imports.
自分の経験も話す必要があります。It's not just website information or data. So in Japan, almost all elementary school students like plant a hatake or grow potatoes or do something, right? So make sure we get their experiences. Actually, don't take it for environment, take it for science.
I think another important thing is just like showing photos and videos of actual like effects of global warming. I think a big issue with like what Yuta mentioned earlier is just ignorance of the actual problem. I think a big thing is because in certain parts of the world like you don't see it, right? So like sometimes you might not see how some places in the world are being affected versus here in Japan.
まあ、一応さ知識は、まあ、最低限知識はつけてほしいけど、そこからさこう増やしていくのは自分たちなわけじゃん。だから、まあ、最低限の知識をつけるそれを深めていく探求の時間みたいなのがいるんじゃないかな。実際にやっていく。そう。
それはどうやっていくんですか？
とりあえず日本語で考えを述べただけだからさ。英語でね。
Could be good idea. Analyze all of them, you know.
Okay, what else in this class would you do?
Class that will deepen your knowledge about environmental studies.
Yeah.
It's a rich
I mean,
our public class, school class, and we made a presentation about SDGs and what can we do, what our goals, and make presentation for our classmate. This is example for environment class. Yeah. And make presentation or poster. Yeah. そんな感じ。
どんなことを聞いてますか？
今とりあえず教育に、環境、つまり環境の問題について考えるクラスみたいなのを、学校で作ろうという意見が出てて、で、具体的にそれについて自分たちの、経験とかやったことありますかっていうことを今決めて具体例を挙げてるって感じですね。わかりました。
ハワイと北海道で、共通している環境問題を今ちょっと、1つ2つ今ちょっと見つけ出しまして、どっちの、地域も海に囲まれているってことで、乱獲だったり、あと海藻、北海道だったら昆布、ハワイだったら、サンゴの環境問題なんかがあるよねっていうことで、それに何ていうんですかね、関連して、食べ物を輸入したりするので CO2 を使うし、環境を壊してるっていうので、それをどうやって守ろうみたいな話を今してます。
何個かアイディア出てて、それをまとめてるみたいな感じです。
問題は教育をやってます。はい。今なんか分かるところでこれはって決まってるのがありますか？
今はまだそんなに決まってないです。
But when you're presenting, you can also say like specific when it all comes to this.
Okay.
Let's make the separate proposals.
Okay, so we can have that at the end.
Yeah.
So we could do like recycling educational tools, printed paper, probably look through these sources, and then give data on it, which shouldn't take too long, right?
National Library.
And maybe practice one time your presentation.
Are you sure? All right, I'll give you 2 boards and I'll raise you 3.
Right, so we can focus on the one other idea, or what?
I want to ask everyone, since is it better to have this kind of whiteboard for the next ideas like this?
自分たちの意見も交えて、環境についての教育についての案を出し合っていて、今は自分たちの経験をシェアしています。
今は温室効果ガスの解決策をみんなで調べてます。
例えばどんなことが
日本の政府が温室効果ガスを削減するパーセントの率を調べてます。
You don't have to use 6 minutes. You just need to use your time. Question. Yes.
Are you supposed to write the ideas on those?
Yeah, that's totally fine. Everyone, I would like to take a second to go over.
And then science, life cycles.
incentives for local food productions as well as more small and local farmers. We also want to promote education for farming in schools as well as the production of agriculture either by local means or just at home and whatnot, which can relate back to this.
Food sufficiency. The rate of Hawaii is 80 to 95%, and Japan is 61%. The common problem of here is fishing and less coral facility.
食料のうちハワイだったら80から95%、日本だったら61% が輸入されてて、でその中でもそのハワイと日本で同じ共通の課題としてはなんだろう、魚を釣りすぎている、その漁獲量がすごい多すぎるっていうのが問題になってて、それによってハワイだったらサンゴが有名だけど、そのサンゴの環境がどんどんなんか減っていって、サンゴが減ったり死んでしまったりしたり、あとは日本だったら昆布とか海藻とかの海温が上昇して、その昆布とかがどんどん少なくなって、その昆布も光合成しているので、それによってまたその酸素が少なくなって二酸化炭素が増えるとかいう悪循環にもなりかねないっていう課題があります。
ちょっと説明してください。
これはですね、2018年のそのどれだけ食材というかフード全般がその購入されたかっていうののそれぞれのなんかこの地域ごとですね。北アメリカ大陸かな、北アメリカだと 861.8 キロが購入されて、ヨーロッパだと780キロみたいな感じで、どれくらい購入されたかっていう推移の2018年版のグラフです。
じゃあこのグラフと提言を使って説明する感じですね。
そうですね。あそこに前に出して。
Good, 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 good. Wow. Okay.
Okay. That should be fine. It doesn't matter about the pen. It's just not one.
Update the universal lower level education system to incorporate environmentalism into everyday life.
And this one is just to simply balance the digital learning style with the traditional learning style, to not destroy one another but to harmonize them.
Online second-hand store in school.
Green zones at school, like gardens and just plants in the classrooms.
Protecting the environment in class. Create a class to teach about environmental issues and sustainability.
So our first proposal is to implement regulatory measures to reduce food loss.
And we'd like to advertise carbon emissions and the amount of food loss to supermarket. This will help consumers be more aware of.
And our final proposal is we would like to donate food not purchased at supermarkets to restaurants in order to help food loss even more.
All right, guys.
Hi everyone. Hi. Let me start with asking a question. Most of you are wearing school uniform or suits today. What are you going to do with them after you graduate? Of course, you can just throw away after hearing Professor Yamanaka's lecture about the global environment, right? Here, we think about online school, second-hand store in school. The content is graduate students can sell their uniform, textbooks, and so on online. And enrolling students can buy them with lower price than usual. There are mainly 4 advantages. First, we can reduce the use of fossil fuels for producing, burning, and transporting materials. Second, students can learn about the importance of not to waste our goods. Third, students will use their things more politely in order to sell them so that others can use. Fourth, since school uniforms and textbooks are very expensive, we can save money to buy them.
It's my story. When I graduated middle school, we could give the shoes to school, but I didn't give because it fitted to me.
With Daiji's story, it's a good example of being able to keep using something instead of just throwing it away after. According to Asahi News, for each good item of clothing recycled, it saves up to 25 kilograms of carbon dioxide, or CO2, which is equal to about 250 500 milliliter bottles of water. And according to the Seattle Times, Goodwill, which is the biggest secondhand store company in the United States, reuses about 4.6 billion pounds of its recycled items every year. So it would be saving a lot of carbon emissions for schools as well through freezing uniforms.
Let's reduce もったいない using through this proposal. Thank you.
So our idea, or the other half of our group, was green zones at school. So it's to provide a safe and calm place for activity in schools with the end goal of increasing care for the environment.
According to GCU says, having garden in school can help teach about core classes, math, science, language arts, and social studies.
For example, for math, we can use the gardening for measuring or graphs, and for science, we can use life cycle or ecosystem, and language, we can use recording information, and also we can use it for history, like historical significance. From my experience, when I was in elementary school, I did an activity that called 一人一花, which means that one flower for one person. That is only we did when I was in elementary school week. We didn't do like junior high school or high school, also college. So we have to continue doing this activity.
In my experience, I was making loofah, that is called hechima in Japanese, when I was elementary school student. And I think that growing a plant is a good way to know the importance of being kind to environment for children.
So if you're curious about what a green zone is essentially a garden at the school, or it could just be plants in the classroom. And it's a safe place for mental health. For example, if someone is having a panic attack, they could go there. It increases care for the environment. For example, the idea of like plant pets, where you each get your own plant and you take care of it. And you could also like grow native species of plants, which those plants could then go to reservations for them to plant at certain places. And it can also improve feelings about education, such as attention, and overall your whole mood, which puts you in a good mood for learning. So, in all of our experiences, we've all been pretty proud or happy of the plans that we've had. And so, yeah, it's a idea that would only work if education systems agreed with it. So As John Lennon said, "You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one."
So the subject we chose to focus on is the relation between environment and food issues. Currently, the main food issue is simply food loss. The two main issues that come with this is overproduction and overconsumption. And these two tie in very importantly with how it affects the environment. A statistic we have from the United States Department of Agriculture is that nearly half of the world's habitable land is used up for agriculture. For example, in the US, roughly 52% of its land base is used for farming. And this is mainly due to overconsumption across the whole world. And this is an issue because it leads to unsustainable farming. Here we have a graph that dates back to 2018 of most of the major areas in the world. And this is the food consumption per capita of each of these places. And this just is here to illustrate how much food that we consume on average. And you can see that a lot of these countries have significantly higher numbers than others. And this is mainly due to overconsumption. This is from things like advertising and just misinterpreting how much food we really need. This is a big issue because, like mentioned, it leads to unsustainable farming, which leads to many different issues.
For example, according to the World Day, Africa have consumption 540.8 kilograms of food as a food loss. Despite the fact Europe had consumption 780.6 kilograms of food as a food loss per capita.
And so with all this overconsumption, obviously it needs land in order to be farmed. So another study done back in 2018 by the United States Farming and Agriculture Department. This is a small graph indicating how much land across the whole world is used. So since the last ice age, we have lost nearly 1/3 of our forests. Back in 2018, 30% of our land in the world was forests. 15% of the land in the world was used for crops. Now, this isn't only for humans. Only 23% of the crops used are for humans, whereas 77% of the crops planted are actually for animal feed. And this leads us to 32% of our world being used for grazing. This is for raising animals such as cattle and lamb that's to be eaten. This is nearly half of the world's land being used simply for farming. This isn't as much as we really need to use, and like mentioned, this is due to overconsumption. All of this land is being taken away from our natural environment, typically due to deforestation. So like mentioned, 1/3 of our forests have been taken over, and this is not only from farming, but production of other products that are being farmed. Of course, this issue has been taken into account by other governments, such as Japan's, by the Ministry of Environment.
Firstly, we should set a goal in UN that how much food should not be wasted. According to our study, there is inequality between countries that how much food are wasted. Therefore, to set up goal, regulate the amount of food wasting. Countries can act for the goal, such as recording laws.
think the important things to solve the problem is knowing, and so we recommend educating, showing how much CO2 is used to make food is like supermarket, and we think it gonna be help to it gonna teach us why the problem is happen.
Okay, to conclude that, the first our suggestion and proposal from our group is to regulate the laws and rules that how many food losses shouldn't be made, and the second is to show how much CO2 makes the world bad, or emissions can cause significant damages. And here is the third proposal that opening a restaurant beside supermarket can have a strong potential as a solution. This is the third proposal. And there are many foods that is not good shape or out of date of consumption. Is the before best. After that, before best. So most of these are lost at the supermarket. So restaurants should use this food and reduce total emission of CO2. So in my experience, when I make like curry and rice, it is not a huge problem of shapes and the date that when they are used. So the advantages of this solution, and the restaurant can sell the food which is out of the date, almost out of the date, but it is safe.
Continuing after talking to me, another personal experience that I have at my school, I work as a teaching assistant, and I help teach younger students entrepreneurship. Something that I've helped them teach is essentially this issue is food waste. I've helped teach them to understand the idea of what are considered ugly foods, which are foods that are still edible, but just at a lower grade. So typically, like mentioned by my other partners, they're typically not purchased at supermarkets. So not only by distributing them to other restaurants could help them get used instead of being wasted, I'm also helping teach the younger generation how to not waste food just despite how it looks, because of how much of an impact it has. These are, obviously, there's a lot to be done to solve the issue involving food waste and environment, but we feel that our proposal plan will help us waste less food and help better our environment in the future.
Since 1900, certain species of fish have decreased by population by 90% worldwide. This includes many important foods, or fishes we use for foods, several of which have decreased by over 75%. Such is a problem that is reflected in Japan, with many fisheries. Their output have decreased by 41% despite attempts to produce more. This is a drastic problem, and because of it, we propose that over the next 5 years, fish population should be strictly observed alongside permit and illegal fishing to determine where the problem lies.
Using the data gathered, we have decided whether the problem lies with the legally obtained permits or legally obtained permits, such as 1,000 small boat permits and 164 longline fishery permits, and potentially reduce said permits by a further 10 to 20% each year, depending on continued observation of population. Or if the blame lies on the legal fishing operations, we can impose harsher punishments that exceed the current $100 to $10,000 range, including length jail time depending on the severity of the crime. If this is found to work out in Hawaii, then the strategy can be further applied to Japan, which face similar problems.
Both Hawaii and Japan suffer from food self-sufficiency issue. Hawaii imports 80 to 95% of its food and Japan 61%. This leads to issues such as vulnerabilities in the event of natural disaster.
The line of finding for each count of food importing until the harbor could be repaired, and Ishikawa earthquake is also made it impossible to receive food import camp.
There are 4 solutions to food sufficiency. First one is incentive for local food production by reduce tax, making a tax benefit. And second one is have more small local farmers, such as house gardens.
And third solution is education about farming in school from younger generation. Because when I was in elementary school, and my school had a great farm, and we had a class about farming, and also not only we could learn about how to grow vegetables, but also we could interact with people in other grades or some local people. So it would be a good opportunity to make farming more familiar for young students. So education about farming is the third solution, and about fourth solution is more productive agriculture, and for example GMO, like more biotechnics to make it more productive.
Thank you.
That's all.
Hello everyone. I'm Masayuki.
I'm Anna. I'm Hana.
My name is Dwayne.
I'm Kiwi.
We found the project PTEC, protecting the environment class. PTEC is the subject that learning about environment problem and make solution. So we would like to talk about our projects. So we choose environment and education. So we talked about a project in our school. In my experience in primary class, I made a presentation about SDGs with classmates and made solution to complete in first semester in my school.
In Chitose High School, I studied SDGs in class and then found the solution and more made poster one by one.
Anna and Masayuki told about their own experience, but their experience is a special time of public class. It's not subject. So we thought that it is not enough time to think about environmental problem and do something for it.
I want to talk about why I feel certain countries don't get enough education about the environment and why we need the PTEC. And my example for this is the Philippines. First of all, I'm from the Philippines, so I will be talking from experience. When I was still living in the Philippines, the classes there rarely taught us about the environmental problems. If you visit the Philippines, you will see that there are so many trash around the streets, cigarette butts and plastic bottles all over the sidewalk. I recently went back to the Philippines to visit my family for the holidays, and to my surprise, there was more trash on the streets than there were when I left for Japan. It is clear to me that people there lack education and that schools need to be more active in teaching students about the environment, and I believe that PTEC will help solve that problem.
So the reason why we think that this is a good idea is because there's such a high amount of tons of CO2 emitted every year by each person. These countries are the highest. I think Qatar had 32 point something tons of 37.2 tons of CO2 emitted every year per person. And so we thought that it would be a good idea to have a class to educate everyone on it. So UNESCO is like the UN. We found an article that said that they recommended that every school have a required class to teach about environmental issues and sustainability by 2025. They also surveyed 1,600 teachers, and more than half made no reference to climate change. This goes to show that most people they don't understand climate change and how serious it is. And I think it would be a good idea to have a class about that, so people learn exactly what it is.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so our topic was about education and the environment. So let's just put this into perspective. If you were to, let's be realistic here, first of all. I don't think most of us would probably want a class on environmentalism. Not that it's not, it might be, sure, it could be boring for some people, it might be interesting for some people. Feelings don't matter in this case. We just want to better the world, regardless of how you feel, right? And if you were to have just say a class about it, some people would probably try and flunk it. They don't really care much about recycling in the right bins, recycling plastic, throwing it away properly. And so our plan, or our recommendation, is very simple, but also very grand at the same time. So our idea is to basically, this isn't just a proposal to Hokkaido and Hawaii, it's for every single government out there. So this one is to simply update the universal lower level education systems to incorporate environmentalism into everyday life. And now what does that mean? We have 4 separate proposal papers or proposal bills, but it's technically one with many. So here's the first one. Incorporating hands-on memorable activities for students to learn environmentalism in an interactive and fun way. So first of all, from a study from Springer Link, they found that out of all of the hands-on activities that you could do in a class, they found that simply experimenting, so basically trial and error, was arguably the most favorable and the most interesting for many students. Now in that case, we want to basically captivate the students, captivate the younger generation in this case, to basically learn how to how to basically learn about environmentalism without just a boring lecture, just about talking about me, just listing off my points, and more just hands-on, just do it yourself, find out yourself. If something goes bad, it's on you, and if it doesn't, then you learn something. So that's step number 1, or plan number 1. The second one is a little difficult for most countries, especially developing countries. It is to balance the digital learning style whilst maintaining the traditional learning style as well. So like what the professor said, we don't want to completely remove CO2 emissions. We just want to mitigate it, just level it off, keep it balanced, all right? And if we were to say completely switch over to Google Classroom, computer assignments, it probably wouldn't do much good based on data. And so plus you also want to learn how to do stuff on paper. You want to learn how to write down documents, sign papers, etc., etc. And so this one we plan on simply just being sure you can able to do both and do both effectively. And for the third one, it is to simply teach the younger generation about environmentalism at an early age. So I have a story to tell. When I was in elementary school, I believe our counselor for the entire grade of first grade sat us down to give us a little talk about recycling and like throwing away your trash in the right place. In our place, in our state, Hawaii, the green bin was the natural waste. Blue bin was all the plastics. Black bin was just everything else that was not able to be recycled or combusted, or can be like combustible. And so that still stuck with me because like even though I have heard that our state doesn't really have like different land, they all have like the same landmine for all these bins. It doesn't matter because it still stuck with me, stuck with my parents, my family, everyone. And so in that case, from my personal experience, I believe we should probably teach them at a very young age, like I did mention, because you're able to like incorporate it at a very early age or condition, not in a bad way, but to like learn more about just environmentalism at an early age. And basically, there's more ideas, but the main point is to simply make it a habit, something that's not a class, you don't have to take it, it's just something like brushing your teeth, washing your hands, taking a shower. It's good, you should probably do it. If you don't, something's wrong, alright? But yeah, that's our proposal. Thank you very much.
I'm Ashley and I go to Roosevelt High School. I thought that the summit was very fun and very informative. I learned a lot, not only about the culture, but also about the environment and how we should take care of it. It's very different from Hawaii. I quite enjoyed the difference though.
My name is Connor Straube and I'm from Panoho School. Today's summit was very fun. It was very informative, and it was great being able to work with all the other Clark students, being able to share ideas and communicate with one another despite the language barrier.
My name is Noah Gurtiza. I am a sophomore at Monola High School. You know, I could talk about all the activities, the lecture, the big project we had to do, but they're all amazing, of course, but the one thing that always sticks out to me now is just how good the English of the Clark students are. I was honestly pretty surprised that they could keep up with every single one of my words. I didn't have to use that much of my Japanese, which is a good thing because I didn't want to. I didn't feel too secure about it. But yeah, I'm just really impressed. Keep up the good work, Clark.
Hello, my name is Dwayne and I'm from Nagoya campus. And today I enjoyed the environmental summit, even though it was still very informative and it was still very fun. Thank you.
天王寺キャンパスの唐瀬なゆみです。英語でコミュニケーション取るのがあんまり得意じゃなかったし、あんまりできなかったなと思ったので、もうちょっと頑張りたいと思います。やっぱり難しかったんですけど、なんか知らなかったこととかいっぱい知れたのでめっちゃ良かったです。
クラーク札幌大通校の田中まなみです。英語で環境について言いたいことを言うのがすごく難しかったんですけど、すごく楽しかったです。英語をもっと勉強したいと思いました。
クラーク札幌大通の生還クリーンです。今日の感想はめっちゃ楽しくて、なんかいろんな人と喋れて楽しかったです。
I'm from HP Baldwin High School. My name is Sarah, and today I will definitely look back on it very fondly.
Hello, my name is Shoda Nishura from Chitose High School. I'm happy to participate this summit. Thank you very much.
北海道千歳高校の鳥海アンナです。Today is good opportunity for me. I want to join like this event again. Thank you.
札幌クラーク大通校の殿川正幸です。今日やってみての感想は、普通に答えのない問題が提示されて、環境について、考えたりして、 実際英語を使って、他の人とコミュニケーションも取れたし、あとは具体的にですけど何か解決策が出せたことがとても嬉しかったです。また来年も頑張りたいと思います。
私立札幌開成中等教育学校の高橋瑠香です。今日は、英語を使ってディスカッションをしながら環境について学べて、これからももっと環境についてより考えていけるようになりたいなと思いました。ありがとうございました。
はい、私立札幌開成中等教育学校の横澤匠です。今回のサミットでは普通の授業であれば同じ日本人の同じような文化からの意見ばっかりなんですけれど、今回のサミットで他の多文化からのいろいろな意見が聞けて、自分が考えもしなかったような話ができて、すごい深く議論ができたなと思ってます。ありがとうございました。
北星学園女子高等学校渋谷春奈です。今回の環境サミットは自分にとってすごい大きい挑戦で、初めてこうやって、英語で違う国の人と喋る機会をもらったんですけど、本当に新しい自分と出会って自信もついたし、他の人の意見を聞いて新しい考え方とかそういうのも得ることができたので、すごい成長できたなっていうふうに感じてます。ありがとうございました。
北星学園女子高等学校の吉田ひなたです。今回は英語を通して環境問題についてさまざまな取り組みを知れたし、グループのみんなと協力していいプレゼンテーションを作ることができました。すごくいい経験になったと思います。ありがとうございました。
横浜キャンパス、クラーク横浜キャンパスの村山優太です。I really felt how funny talking with each other who have different opinion or and backbone。今回ハワイの生徒さんと他の北海道の生徒さんと一緒にお話しして、特にハワイの生徒さんっていうのが印象に残って、初めての同世代の方との異文化交流だったので、でもそれでも課題も感じながら、進んでるなとも感じながら、課題も感じて、もう今からすごい楽しみに感じました。はい。
旭川北高校の竹内春樹です。今日はハワイの人や他の学校の人たちと一緒に環境について話し合えてとても楽しかったです。ありがとうございました。
クラーク福岡キャンパスの山下一華です。普段はいただけないこんな貴重な機会をいただけて、もうすごい楽しかったと同時に、やっぱ貴重な経験をいただけたなと思っています。またこれからもこのサミットが続くことを願っています。ありがとうございます。
旭川北高校の相川みなみです。今日は環境についてさまざまな新しいことを学べてよかったし、本当に人生であるかないかっていうくらいのすごい貴重な経験をすることができて、本当によかったし楽しかったです。本当にありがとうございました。
Hi, I'm Donovan Morikone from Kalani High School on Oahu, Hawaii. And I thought today was really fun. I learned a lot of new things and I was able to work well with my group members.
Hello everyone, my name is Sakura Itoyama. I come from Kobe Sannomiya campus in Clark. And first I want to thank all teachers who behind us associate this program. I think this is very meaningful activity. It's an opportunity to deepen our awareness of environmental protection and also to contribute to the environmental preservation and to communicate to the people from other campuses, other school, and people from Hawaii. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sean Fitch. I attend Pacific Buddhist Academy. I'm really glad for the opportunities the summit has allowed me to experience, being able to interact with different people from schools across Japan.
Aloha, my name is Annika Houghton and I attend Kahuku High and Intermediate School in Hawaii on the island of Oahu. And for me, this meeting was a really great experience. I loved learning about both the Ainu culture and climate change. To me, climate change is very important in my life because I see it every day, so it's nice seeing it get brought up to light. And also interacting with all the other students here, I really enjoyed that.
Hi, I'm Healy. I go to Punahou, and I really enjoyed talking to people who don't speak the same language and don't live in the same country as me.
札幌大通校
2年生の三国大地です。今日一日通していろんな人と英語を使いながら、環境問題についてやアイヌのこと、地球温暖化について考えたんですけど、とてもみんなで協力して楽しい時間を過ごせました。ハワイにいつか戻ってまたみんなと会いたいと思います。
札幌大通校2年の北田裕太郎です。今日一日を通して、なかなかない機会である英語ネイティブの人たちと英語で話すっていう機会をもらって、で英語ネイティブでない他の札幌からここから来た人たちと英語で話して、アイヌの文化や、地球温暖化について、たくさんの話をして一緒にプレゼンテーションを作って発表するということができてとても楽しく、そして同時に大変でもあった楽しい一日でした。ありがとうございます。